And there's other places which are all no-go areas, such as Anvil Yard. They've got their own gangs and things like that. You've never ventured in them places.
The Anvil Yard was a collection of tumble-down cottages where basically about 15 to 20 of them, and in one room people worked, slept and lived, and they were nail yards and later chain yards.
As you went down Cradley, on the left-hand side from the top of the hill was a big high wall. Oh, it must have been 20, 30, 20, 25 feet high.
Well, of course, as you went down Cradley, this big wall absolutely towered over you.
It cut off the Anvil Yard. You couldn't really see behind that wall.
And there was little tiny windows in it. And that was the windows to the houses, that was the Anvil Yard was the back of that.
All the fronts came into the square inside the Anvil Yard. And it was a dangerous place to go.
You'd go wandering around the Anvil Yard, should they live there. You'd soon be in trouble.
Horrible looking place, Victorian looking, you know, dingy and that. And I never went in the houses, but they reckon they got earthen floors in the houses there.
Sloping, a bit overgrown.
We'd sneak up and have a look, and then we'd run like blazes to get out again. It was considered a dangerous place because they were very proud of their Anvil Yard. They didn't mind kicking people if they got in the way or didn't like them.
Just inside there was the cess pits, as we called them, and then the little houses. There were some houses across there at the front, and then some round there.
They were more like shacks, really, more so than houses, and it was like a sort of dirty yard.
I know that the wash places were outside, further away. The brewers, as they used to call them.
When heavy rains, the outside toilets used to flood and all the effluent used to run down the street.
There was no back doors, just front doors.
They weren't very big. God knows how they raised a big family in there, but the houses weren't very big at all next door to each other, you know.
A lot of houses in, and a lot of people.
My grandfather was born in the Anvil Yard.
My father's father lived there.
My grandfather lived in the Anvil Yard. His name was Alan Slater, the same as me.
There were no fronts on the road, onto the road.
And the road was that narrow, two buses had a job to pass. They had to stop. Two buses couldn't drive by one another. They had to stop, and one had to get right over and the other had to inch down along the wall. And they could just get by.
Through the Anvil Yard, there was a right of way. It come from Collie Lane, down the side of Robertson's shop, which was a grocer's. It crossed Blue Ball Lane, up to St. Peter's Church.
The ladies made chain in there.
And then, of course, it was all knocked down.
I understand that the mortality rate for infants was quite high in the area at the time, because I think the hygiene wasn't very good.
They had to close it down because at one time they thought there was typhoid.
No wonder they used to have typhoid epidemics there. The children, the people used to die so young. My own great-grandfather died at 35. The Anvil Yard was knocked down in 1929 by a local man, Yates, I believe his name was, a local builder.